Have you ever wondered why the Bible doesn't present just one account of Jesus' life but four? That's right, 4 Gospels, 4 versions, 4 voices, and for many, that sounds strange. After all, if there's only one message, why so much repetition? But the truth is, the Gospels in the Bible don't repeat each other. They complement one another. Each one reveals a side of Jesus that you only notice when all the pieces come together. And that's where many people get lost. They try to understand everything at once without knowing where to start, and end up giving up. Most people have never heard of the Synoptic Gospels or understand why John writes so differently from Mark. And the confusion only grows when someone asks, "How should I read the Gospel?" or "Who wrote the Gospels?" and can't find simple answers. But believe me, there is a practical and accessible way to understand it all. You don't need to be a theologian or spend hours with complicated books. With a few simple steps and the right direction, any beginner can dive into the Gospels and discover the beating heart of the Christian faith. In this video, you'll clearly understand the purpose of the Gospels, what each one represents, and how to start reading without fear, even if you've never opened the Bible. And more, you'll discover truths that few talk about, like why there are 4 Gospels instead of just one, and what that reveals about Jesus' own mission. So stick with me until the end, because what you're going to learn here on Between the Lines of Faith can completely change the way you see the Bible and life. After all, what is a gospel? If someone asked what the Gospels in the Bible are, the best answer would be, they are the most transformative biography ever written. Gospel literally means good news, and what better news than knowing that God chose to walk among us? These texts narrate Jesus' life not as distant myths, but as living, intimate accounts of his journey, written by those who knew him or heard directly from witnesses. Reading the Gospels isn't just a spiritual practice, it's a deep dive into the essence of the Christian faith. It's where the journey begins for anyone wanting to understand the purpose of the Gospels in the Holy Bible. Each Gospel has a unique brilliance. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John aren't just telling stories, they are painting, with words, the face of Jesus. Reading the Gospels is like visiting 4 different exhibitions about the same person. Each one highlights something new, but all reveal the same radical love. And don't be fooled, even the simplest details carry deep meaning. When someone decides to study the Gospels, they soon realize they're not just reading about the past, but dialoguing with the present. It's an invitation to discover Jesus in the Gospels in an intimate and surprising way. Imagine, for example, finding an old letter from your great-grandfather describing how he met the love of his life. Now imagine finding 3 more letters, each from a friend or relative, telling the same story from different perspectives. That's more or less what happens with the Synoptic Gospels and the Gospel of John. The richness lies in the details, the nuances, the different emphases. That's why daily Bible reading, especially of the Gospels, shouldn't be rushed. And if that's already piqued your curiosity, just wait until you find out why there are 4 Gospels and not just one. Sometimes someone asks, if Jesus was one person, why are there 4 Gospels? The answer is simple and powerful, because no single lens could capture the full greatness of Jesus' life. Each evangelist, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, was like a camera positioned at a different angle, filming the same event. Each one wrote for a specific audience, with a different goal, reinforcing the message of the Gospels with nuances that complete one another. It's like assembling a heavenly puzzle. We only see the full picture when all the pieces are joined. Matthew spoke to the Jews, Mark to the Romans, Luke to the Greeks, and John, well, John spoke to the heart. This variety of approaches helps both scholars and beginners find a point of connection. That's why, when starting to read the Gospels, it's good to know that each one opens a different door to the same Christ. And this plurality is what makes the Gospels in the Bible so fascinating. Each Gospel delivers a piece of the treasure that is Jesus. Studying the Gospels is not repetition, it's progressive revelation. If your intention is to understand the purpose of the Gospels, think of it like this. Imagine watching a documentary directed by 4 different filmmakers, each focusing on one aspect of the life of someone who changed history. One covers childhood, another their career, another their emotions, and the last their spirituality. That's the experience of reading the Gospels step by step. And the question now becomes, if each one has a unique focus, what is the style of each one? The Gospel of Matthew is like that teacher who knows tradition, honors roots, and explains in detail why everything makes sense. Written for the Jews, he presents Jesus as the Messiah promised in the Scriptures. Reading Matthew's Gospel is a journey linking the Old and New Testaments, stitching prophecies to Jesus' life. It's perfect for those who like to understand the why of things. Why are there 4 Gospels? Why does Jesus say certain things? Here, everything has a foundation, a purpose, and depth. Mark, on the other hand, gets straight to the point. If Matthew is the patient teacher, Mark is the coach who throws you onto the field and says, "Run with faith." His gospel is the shortest and most dynamic, perfect for those just starting daily Bible reading or who need something more practical. Mark's gospel highlights Jesus' actions, miracles, casting out demons, healings. It's the kind of reading that makes your heart race. A great entry point for anyone wanting to meet Jesus in the Gospels more quickly, without missing the essence. Luke, the physician and historian, gives us a gospel full of details, names, dates, and context. It's like watching a well-produced documentary. He highlights Jesus' human side, the one who has compassion, who listens, who touches. And then there's John. John is the deepest. His gospel is like diving into the soul of Christ. He reveals the Son of God with poetry, symbolism, and spiritual truths. It's perfect for those wanting to understand the message of the Gospels with more emotional and spiritual intensity. And that brings a natural question. With so many styles, how do you start reading the Gospels wisely and fruitfully? Many people want to start reading the Gospels but get stuck on the very first page. They don't know where to go, what to expect, or how to clearly understand the Gospels. The tip here is simple but powerful. Start with the Gospel of John if you want to dive into the spiritual side, or with Mark if you prefer something more direct and practical. Both work as excellent gateways to the Holy Bible, especially for beginners who want to take their first steps in daily Bible reading with confidence. But it's not just about reading, it's about how you position yourself as you read. Before opening the Bible, pause for a minute. Say a simple prayer like, "Lord, show me what I need to understand today." Use a Bible with notes or commentaries. That helps a lot. You can also use apps like YouVersion or JFA Bible, which offer step-by-step reading plans for the Gospels. And here's a powerful practice. Underline what touches your heart. Write down questions. Reread passages. Reading the Gospels isn't a sprint, it's a walk with Jesus. Turn this moment into a sacred habit. Choose a fixed time of day, maybe in the morning over coffee, or at night before bed. Play some light instrumental music, create a peaceful atmosphere, and make this meeting with the Word something enjoyable. That changes everything. When you study the Gospels in the Bible like this, you begin to grasp the nuances of Jesus' life, better understand the Synoptic Gospels, and, with time, it all starts to fit together. And the most amazing part, this reading has the power to transform much more than your understanding. It transforms your heart. Reading the Gospels in the Holy Bible is like opening a window straight to the heart of Jesus. It's there His deepest words are revealed, His acts of compassion, His surprising miracles. Every page is an invitation to transformation. Through the Gospels, we come to know the character of Christ, His mercy for the rejected, His firmness with the hypocrites, and His tenderness with the suffering. And it doesn't matter if it's Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, they all show, each in their own way, the love that drives the Christian faith. Now, look, it's not just about knowing beautiful stories. It's about looking at real life and seeing how the gospel message applies today. When Jesus calms the storm, for example, He teaches that our peace doesn't depend on circumstances. When He heals, He shows that no one is beyond the reach of grace. Step-by-step gospel reading trains us to see God's presence in everyday life, in traffic chaos, in work stress, or in the pain of loss. The Synoptic Gospels and John together reveal a Jesus who walks with us. That's why studying the Gospels is more than information. It's transformation. They draw us into the story of salvation. They confront us, welcome us, shape us. Daily Bible reading with open eyes and heart is the key to understanding why there are 4 Gospels, how to read the Gospel practically, and why it's all essential for our journey. And the most beautiful part is that as you get to know Jesus and the Gospels, you start to see the world, and yourself, with new eyes. And maybe that's the true purpose of the Gospels. Now that you've come to see the Gospels with new eyes, tell me, what's stopping you from starting your Gospel reading today? Is it doubt? The rush of daily life? Or maybe that old idea that it's too hard for me? The truth is, there's no perfect moment. What there is the decision to take the first step, and God will lead the rest. You already know what makes each Gospel unique. You've understood why there are 4 Gospels and how they reveal Jesus' life from different angles. Now, how about putting it all into practice? Pick a Gospel. Set aside a moment in your day. Read slowly, with an open heart. Ask yourself, what does Jesus want to show me here? And let the message of the Gospels transform you from the inside out. And before you go, do this. Subscribe to the Between the Lines of Faith channel, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who also wants to understand the Bible better. Because when you learn, you grow. But when you share, you change lives. So tell me, which Gospel are you going to start reading today?